Alright, quick fix it for those of you who have problems with the shims sticking to your workpiece. What I mean by that is CA finish, guys. About 1 in 4 times when I was trying to separate the shims when I was done with the workpiece after polishing and finishing, the glue would crack the finish and or take some wood with it. Well, I found a fix to it. Took me a long time to come up with it, but let me know if this works for you guys. By all means, leave tips, comments, feedback. If you got a better idea, by all means, holler, type it in, let me know. But if you look right here, there's a gap. There's a gap on every one of these. And what that allows me to do is basically not get the shim stuck to the wooden workpiece. Naturally, when you're turning it, you want it flush. When you're sanding it, you want it flush. But when it comes time to putting the finish on there, I'm really sick and tired of the CA sticking to the shims. How I get this to stick where I can work with it, turn the lathe on, and the workpiece ain't gonna spin. I'll move this to the right. Yes, it's secure with the brass nut, knurl nut sort of thing. Well, heck, I'll show you real quick. I'm gonna move the camera, bear with me. All right, there's a shim. All I do is I take a Q-tip, like Yogi, I cut the end off, and what you want to do is build up a resistance around here, or make this diameter slightly bigger than the brass tube you're sticking it in, so you kind of have to crunch it together. So all I do is take that piece right there, I take some super glue, and I pour the super glue on the end of here to where there's one drop sitting on the end of this. And I reach down and I hit it, and the drop wraps around the radius of it, effectively increasing the diameter of the shim that goes inside the brass tube, and then I hit it with some accelerator. I turn it around, I do it to the other side, and basically I build up a very thin coat of CA around the bushing. And then when I go to put the workpiece on it, it's really tough to get on there, so it holds it in place, that sort of thing. You're not worried about turning around because you're not taking wood off or material, you're just working a finish. And it allows me to not have the workpiece, bear with me just 1 second, it allows me not to get the workpiece stuck to the shim. So you can obviously see the gaps. I'm working on a scepter pen. That's back inlaid with lapis, if you're curious, the Apache there on the wood. It's cherry, bird's eye maple, box elder, brown box elder, and blue and red stuff. But anyway, that's how not to get the shims stuck to your workpiece. When I'm done finishing this, the shims pop right off, and I do not effectively ruin the finish on the pen at all. Last but not least, when you press this together, obviously you're going to have a little glue on the ends, which is going to kind of create, I don't know, it's going to stick off the end. So all I do is I take a piece of sandpaper like Yogi, and I stick it in here, and I turn it on, and I grind this basically at a 45-degree angle. And it is so minute that when you actually get through the finish and hit the wood, and you'll see brown on the paper instead of white, what that stops is when you're pressing the pen together, heck, I need to back up. Sorry, folks. When you're pressing the pen together like this in the pen press, you're not going to crack the finish. And for those of you who've done this quite a bit, you know what I'm talking about. You press them together and the finish cracks. So what I've done is removed the finish from the end of the workpiece. So when I press it together and it hits the metal parts, I'm not binding the CA that makes up my finish, effectively cracking it. Hope I explained that right. Last but not least, the best trick in the world when you're done with the shims and you want to clean them up, instead of spending a bunch of money at Penn State, because they're starting to get really pricey and kind of greedy in my book, acetone. Big old jug of it. Let's see if I can't widen out for you. Here's wider. Acetone solvent, like $6 at Lowe's, and I've been using the same can for a couple months. All I do is take my my shims, I drop them in there, and if you want to fiddle with it the same day, you can have it cleaned up and all the glue removed in probably about 5 minutes. Or you can be lazy like me. When I'm done, I just drop them in, come back the next day, and I take one of those little magnet things and fish it out of the bottom, and there's absolutely no glue left on it. That's it. Let me know what you think. Leave comments. See ya.